Thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain Scent Boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
WHIO is the home of the biggest sports brands in the Miami Valley. And we have the ability to put your company's message right in the middle of it.
We've been caring and fighting for clients since 1950.
The home of the Cleveland Browns.
Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at?
University of Dayton basketball.
I'm the voice of the Flyers, Larry Hanskin.
High school football. And the best Bengals coverage. Put your business front and center in the most valuable space in media. Sports rules. To get your message in these legendary sports brands, advertise on Dayton's legendary radio station. To advertise, call Kristen at 937-259-2344. That's 937-259-2344. Together with the resources of News Center 7, you're on Dayton's #1 news team. Now, back to Miami Valley's morning news on WHIO.
646, I'm Larry Hanskin, 66 degrees in Dayton. Big three things you need to know. Warm and sunny today. We'll see a high in the mid to upper 80s. Another wave of back-to-school first days in Springfield, Beaver Creek, Tip City, and Huber Heights, to name a few. In our top story, peace talks now move to the White House, where President Trump welcomes Ukraine's President Zelensky.
Yeah, and Larry, European leaders will join Zelensky at the meeting with President Trump as the amid efforts, I should say, to end the war with Russia. U.S. Ambassador to NATO Matt Whitaker telling Fox's The Big Weekend Show a meeting between the president, Putin, and Zelensky could be on the table.
President Trump is going to have to evaluate, based on everything he hears from the Europeans and from Ukraine, as to whether there is a next step to take. And if so, what is that next step? And is it a trilateral meeting?
A U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said Russia agreed that the U.S. and allies could provide a NATO-style security guarantee to Ukraine, resembling Article 5, which allows one NATO member to call on others for its defense. Here in the Miami Valley, thousands of students heading back to class today.
Students in Tip City Schools, Miami Valley Academies, Riverscape Career Tech, and Huber Heights City Schools all heading back to class this morning.
That is News Center 7's Letitia Perry. Meanwhile, one Greene County College is seeing another record enrollment this year.
Cedarville University students started showing up Friday, and the school says a projected 1,175 freshmen are expected to move into their residence halls before it's said and done. The university has announced a new high in enrollment in each of the last 16 years.
That is WHIO's Ron Otto reporting. The university boasting of over 6,300 students, making it one of the largest private universities in our state. The Montgomery County Municipal Court has a new judge.
Governor DeWine has appointed Brandon S. Myers to fill the seat of James Pierges, who recently retired. Pierges was required to resign in May after pleading guilty to obstructing official business. Myers currently serves as an assistant prosecuting attorney at the Miami County Prosecutor's Office.
That is WHIO's Parker Tester reporting. Myers will serve the remainder of the unfinished term and plans to run for election in November. Meanwhile, in Troy, a new Ohio historical marker is unveiled honoring Black Civil War soldiers buried in the city. The marker commemorates a service and sacrifice of the 20 Black Civil War veterans buried at Riverside Cemetery.
Many of these soldiers are interred in the historically segregated Soldiers Circle. The flag used in the unveiling ceremony will also be displayed at the Lincoln Community Center.
That is WHIO's Christine Bellino reporting. In West Jefferson, we have learned that a semi-truck carrying 35,000 pounds of chicken caught fire on I-70 Friday.
This was near State Route 142. OHSP says a tire on the trailer blew out with flames and smoke seen before it became engulfed. The highway and several westbound ramps were closed for more than an hour.
That is WHIO's Ian James. You may have been stuck in the back up there. Now, the driver, luckily able to escape this unharmed. WHIO News Time, 6:49.
I'm Larry Hansgen. This is Miami Valley's Morning News as we take a look at our 5-day extended forecast so you can make your plans accordingly. And here's Storm Center 7 meteorologist Britley Ritz.
85 degrees this afternoon, partly cloudy with a north wind at 10 to 15. 88 tomorrow afternoon, scattered showers and thunderstorms ahead of a cold front. We'll have that chance for scattered thunderstorms again in the morning on Wednesday, once more through the afternoon and evening. Not a deluge, just pay attention to live Doppler 7 as we hit 83 degrees, a little bit cooler. Not as humid the Thursday and Friday behind that front, and not as hot either. 82 Thursday and 84 on Friday.
Well, our live Doppler 7 radar's clear. We have 64 in Springfield, 66 in Kettering, and 66 at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Expert brake repair you can trust. Make sure you can stop when you need to the most. Get a little peace of mind by making an appointment today with your trusted brake repair experts at GrismerTire.com.
An update with Jake McNaughton.
Looks like we have a couple minor traffic issues on I-75 north of Dayton right now. No lanes are blocked, but a reported crash northbound 75 past Benchwood Road, heading up to I-70, and then southbound 75. Not sure if this is a crash, but I am seeing police on scene in the right shoulder just before Needmore Road, and already slowing down in the construction area. This is typical in this spot, 35 west approaching 675 in Beaver Creek. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magdana, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Now, last week, while I was off, my father-in-law, Joe Hager, passed away down in Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know that the family's doing an obituary printed up here, but Joe lived here for the Miami Valley a long time, worked at State Farm, longtime member of NCR Country Club. I know he had a lot of friends out there who are listening right now, probably that still remember him. He was 95 when he passed, and he lived a very fruitful life, a very full life indeed. Navy veteran, longtime State Farm employee, and just a great guy. Well, still to come, putting things off. We all do it, and we all do a lot of the same things. We'll discuss in 3 minutes. WHIO News Time, 6:51.
I know it's scary to hear someone tell you to get in your safe spot during a storm. But aren't you glad we're here to say it? Live Storm Center 7 coverage during any weather situation. WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
I'm Dr. Merkel. Recently, a 60-year-old patient reported his cataracts are gone, floaters are gone, and he can drive better at night. His tremor is gone and can sign his name better. Hip and knee joint pains are also gone, and he can now go up steps 2 at a time. Overall fatigue and stiffness are much better, lost a few pounds, and his ED and testosterone greatly improved. He hasn't felt this healthy or this good in years. No surgeries, no drugs, no shots were used or even needed. Just getting healthier. He didn't need multiple doctors, just one who is an expert in health. Whatever your health problems, maybe there are safe natural options. You'll know in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And if you get healthy enough, does it really matter the name of the disease? At Take Two Healthcare, we won't guess. With proper testing, we will know what to do. Go to Take Two Healthcare and listen every Saturday, 11 to noon, to Take Two Healthcare right here on WHIO.
Elevate your kitchen or bathroom with breathtaking countertops from Stone Center of Dayton. Explore our large indoor inventory of granite and quartz, and now featuring a large selection of quartzites. We're locally owned and operated and offer in-house design help. Visit us at stonecenterofdayton.com.
This is the legendary WHIO, the king of sports in Ohio. We've got the biggest sports teams and leagues on both radio and TV. This year, we're proud to be the home of NFL with Cincinnati Bengals football on Channel 7. The Southwest Ohio home of the Cleveland Browns on WHIO Radio. The biggest Big Ten games during the season every Saturday, including Ohio State football. The CBS NFL Game of the Week. The home of University of Dayton basketball and football. The Touchdown 7 high school football games of the week. The Dayton home of March Madness, the Masters, and PGA Championship. When it comes to the absolute biggest sports brands, WHIO Radio and Television is the king of Dayton sports. WHIO, Dayton's news, talk, and sports station.
I'm Parker Testa with the University of Dayton Sports Update. Dayton Volleyball is selected 24th in the preseason American Volleyball Coaches Association poll. A The Flyers are coming off a 31-3 season and a trip to the NCAA Regionals.
Into the end zone, touchdown, Dayton.
Dayton football kicks off their season Thursday, August 28th at Eastern Illinois. Kickoff time is 7 p.m. The Flyers posted a 6-5 record on the gridiron last season.
Back to Bennett, left corner for three. It's good!
Dayton basketball has a few more pieces to their schedule. The Flyers will play Penn State in an exhibition game benefiting mental health and suicide prevention Sunday, October 19th at 2 o'clock. And they'll take on Georgetown in the ESPN Events Invitational. That game will be following your Thanksgiving dinner on November 27th. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. I'm Parker Testa with your University of Dayton Sports Update on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
Breaking news all morning. The Storm Center 7 forecast to start your day and triple team traffic. Miami Valley's morning news continues on WHIO.
Morning, I'm Larry Hansgen, and we are going to have a decent day weather-wise. Temperatures warm, mid-upper 80s, but not as humid. 66 degrees at 6:55. A survey by lastminute.com came up with the 10 most common tasks people avoid and procrastinate on. And in ascending order, exercising, shaving or waxing, replying to personal messages, responding to emails, making important phone calls, DIY home repairs, booking appointments, doing life administration, paying bills, etc., cleaning the car, and number one thing people procrastinate on is cleaning the house or doing laundry. And I can think back to college days of being in a laundromat and seeing 4 or 5 other guys like myself standing around in our bathing suits saying, yep, it was time.
Yeah.
So what, anything, Jeremy, that you find yourself guilty of putting off when you really shouldn't?
So looking at this list specifically, the one that jumped out to me is cleaning the car. My pickup truck is not a disaster, but it's definitely the vehicle that I drive to and from work and sometimes commute with the kids. But with that being said, I do a terrible job of, dusting and cleaning and that sort of a thing. It's just kind of it's mine and I'm fine with it as is.
Probably, I can't say I procrastinate doing it. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I really should. I know that. Now, the Corvette, it's pristine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's pristine.
You
but, a day-to-day car, not so much. Will, what is on your to-do list that you care not to do?
Yeah, the thing that gets me too is cleaning. Yeah, the cars will accumulate, things over time. And then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I can't put my feet on the ground now, or, people can't fit in the car because there's trash everywhere. Got to get, See, any cleaning thing is just.
See, I'm not bad about the trash in the car.
Yeah.
And my wife gets on me saying, how come you don't have a trash bag in your car? I go, well, because I don't keep trash in my car. If I have a wrapper or something, as soon as I exit the car, I take and throw it away.
Yeah.
Where I don't see any reason to keep it in a special bag and ride around with it. All right. Well, whatever you folks have to do today, don't put it off. Get it done, and we'll try to get you up to date on our top story. And that's a big meeting in the White House today. It's 6:58.
For This Week in History, I'm Ron Otto. August 17th, 1998, President Bill Clinton admits to a relationship with Monica Lewinsky.
While my answers were legally accurate, I did not volunteer information. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
August 18th, 1956, Elvis Presley's Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel hits #1. August 19th, 1871, the younger of the Wright brothers, Orville Wright, is born. August 22nd, 565, St. Columbia reports a monster in Loch Ness. August 23rd, 1876, Darke County's Annie Oakley marries traveling show marksman Frank Butler.
The prisoner wishes to say a word.
And August 23rd, 1305, William Wallace is executed. For This Week in History, I'm Ron Otto. I'm Ron Otto with My Sports Rundown. My opinion on the big stories in sports. High school football is back, and we are amped up to bring you all the action again this year. We're headed to at least 11 different high school stadiums, and you may ask, wait a minute, there are only 10 weeks to the regular season. Well, for the first time, we'll have doubleheader action for you. September 19th, we'll feature Miamisburg at Beaver Creek, followed by Minster at Coldwater. Week 8, October 10th, Monroe travels to Bellbrook and Northmont hosts Centerville. And the grand finale, a Week 10 doubleheader with Stebbins traveling to Xenia and Centerville going to Huber Heights to play Wayne. We'll feature one of the oldest rivalries in the state with Piqua at Troy, September 12th. And the back end of the schedule is especially solid, with Ohio Heritage Conference rivals Greenon and Greenview facing off on October 17th. And don't forget about the playoffs. I can't wait to get it going. I'm Ron Otto, and that's my Sports Rundown.
This is the station Dayton turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. WHIO Dayton Springfield, celebrating 90 years of being Dayton's news and talk station. Depend on it.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Larry Hansgen, and welcome to Miami Valley's Morning News. We are live on Monday, August 18th. 65 degrees in Dayton. Here are the big three things you need to know. Going to be warm and sunny today, a high in the mid to upper 80s. Firefighters rescue a swimmer from Ludlow Falls. And our top local story this morning, now, Ukraine's president and several European leaders are going to be meeting with President Trump today following his summit with Russian President Putin.
That's right, Larry. And Fox's Jared Halpern brings us more on this with a special report from the White House.
Volodymyr Zelensky's last Oval Office visit in February ended abruptly.
Your country's in big trouble. Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking.
Today, Ukraine's president will be joined by several European counterparts, including the Chancellor of Germany, the President of France, and the Prime Ministers of Italy and the UK. President Trump spoke with many of those leaders following his Friday summit in Alaska with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Following those talks, a ceasefire was not reached, but the president insists progress was made to strike a full peace agreement.
Yeah, U.S. officials have suggested potential land swaps coupled with U.S.-backed security guarantees for Ukraine. Whatever happens next, stay tuned right here. We're going to continue to bring you updates on this developing story throughout your day on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
Next cold front trying to bring us a little rain. I'm Storm Center 7 meteorologist Britley Ritz. We'll talk about the timing of that rain and how much you can expect.
Police are responding to a reported crash 75 south just before Needmore Road. Traffic is slow a little. No lanes are blocked, though. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
I'm Larry Hansgen. This is Miami Valley's Morning News.
And I'm Jeremy Ratliff. Well, Larry, it's a big day for back to school. Another wave of students returning to the classrooms.
Monday is the first day of class for students in Mechanicsburg and Champaign County, Greene and Local and Springfield City Schools, and Fairborn, Huber Heights, and Tipp City. Beaver Creek City Schools begin with a staggered start.
That is WHIO's Ron Otto reporting. We have everything you need to know about back to school right now at WHIO.com. Classes at a local high school have been canceled because of ongoing air conditioning problems.
Horizon Science Academy High School announced that classes at its Shoup Mill Road location will be canceled today, according to our school and bus closing list. The school said on its website that it's due to a malfunction with the air conditioning system. Horizon Science Academy High School also canceled classes on Friday due to AC issues.
That is WHIO's Rich Jones. Well, we've learned that a driver has been cited following a crash that happened Friday night.
Deputies were called just after 7 to State Route 118 in Beamsville, Union City Road. The preliminary investigation showed a car driven by 37-year-old Patsy Clark of Ansonia traveled into the path of a car driven by 37-year-old Daniel Wigger Jr. of Ansonia. The collision caused Wigger to strike Clark's vehicle, causing it to strike a pole.
That is WHIO's Jason Michaels. Both had suspected minor injuries but refused medical treatment. Clark was cited for failure to yield. An Ohio lawmaker introducing a new bill that would require Ohio amusement parks to provide real-time updates on ride availability.
State Representative Sean Brennan proposed the Real-Time Ride Status Notification Act, which would have major amusement parks to post up-to-date ride statuses through digital signage and online via their apps and websites. Any park that fails to comply could face civil fines.
That is WHIO's Ian James reporting. The bill is expected to see a committee assignment soon. In Richmond, Indiana, a man arrested after he was accused of theft.
Cops received reports of a theft at a business on National Road at the end of July. Officers say Jimmy Rasner was identified as the man responsible and a warrant was issued for his arrest. Rasner turned himself into the Wayne County Jail. Richmond PD says they were able to recover the stolen property.
That is WHIO's Parker Testa reporting. In the Middle East, Israelis nationwide, they're protesting yesterday against the government's upcoming military plans to eradicate Hamas from Gaza. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer explains.
Tens of thousands of protesters clashing with Israeli police. This as frustration grows over Israel's plan for a new military offensive in Gaza. The operation reportedly includes the IDF seizing both Gaza City and Hamas strongholds across the war-torn enclave. Many Israelis fear the new plans could further endanger the remaining hostages. Officials say dozens of demonstrators were arrested.
Now, Israel's prime minister criticizing the protests, telling cabinet members the protest only harden Hamas's stance and delay the release of the hostages and ensure the horrors of October 7th will repeat again and again. And outer space has emerged as the world's next battlefield, demonstrated by recent cyber attacks on satellites blamed on Russia.
National security officials have said the Kremlin also is seeking to develop a space-based weapon that could knock out American satellites, potentially devastating the U.S. economy while leaving the country vulnerable to military attack. Officials in Washington are taking notice, investing in greater efforts to defend U.S. satellites while countering threats from China and Russia.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor. WHIO News Time 7:05.
I'm Larry Hanskin. This is Miami Valley's Morning News. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. Well, coming up Thursday, August 28th, next week. Happy Together, featuring the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett, the Vogues, and the Cowsills, all at Praise Pavilion for one big show. And I got a pair of tickets for caller number 2, 937-457-1290. You'll get a pair of tickets for the Happy Together tour coming up Thursday, August 28th at the Praise. Still to come on Miami Valley's Morning News. Now, the 2016 election, still in the news. We got that story in 2 minutes. WHIO News Time, 7:06.
Nobody likes to be told what to think. That's why we're careful to make sure our news is right down the middle. Both sides and all viewpoints. Then you decide what you think about it. Dayton's News and Talk is WHIO. Depend on it.
For Good News in Dayton, this is Marty Grunder from Grunder Landscaping Company. Jeff King is a retired high school teacher from the Cincinnati area. He is also an accomplished musician. He drives from Cincinnati to the Dayton National Cemetery to voluntarily play taps at military funerals there several days a week. He's been doing this for years and has performed at over 1,500 funeral services. He belongs to an organization called Bugles Across America. He does this in conjunction with the Dayton National Cemetery Honor Squad. The Honor Squad is a volunteer organization themselves that performs a rifle salute at the National Cemetery during military funeral with honors. When veterans are buried at places outside the National Cemetery, there are several other veteran service organizations that perform these. The Dayton National Cemetery Honor Squad, Bugles Across America, and specifically Jeff King are good news for Dayton.
Good News in Dayton is sponsored by Grunder Landscaping, Day Air Credit Union, and Wagner Paving. For more information, visit goodnewsindayton.com.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
There's a war going on right now over your and my wallet. It's when we're offered a trial offer to something, or we sign up for something. It could be a streaming service, who knows what. The problem, they make it really easy for you and me to sign up. They make it nearly impossible for you and me to cancel. It's absolutely terrible. And there was a new federal rule that was just about to go into effect that would make it as easy to cancel as it was to sign up, and it was just outlawed by a court. So it's not going to happen. So businesses we do business with can still play dirty pool with us. So what I want you to do is use your calendar as your friend and know how you cancel something. You sign up for a trial, know how to cancel it. There are also some things you can do with one-time use credit card numbers so that even when the trial offer is over, they can't charge it to you because they don't know your real number.
Clark is WHIO's Consumer Warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO. The area area's only all-news and talk radio station. That means we're talking about what you're talking about. Miami Valley's Morning News continues on WHIO.
Morning, I'm Larry Hanskin, congratulating Kyle from Springboro. He's got a pair of tickets for the Happy Together tour featuring the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett, the Vogues, the Cowsills. One big show at Frey's Pavilion on Thursday, August 28th. More tickets to give away all week, so keep listening. That's 65 degrees now at 7:09.
And that is 9 minutes here after 7 o'clock. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. Well, you may see some raindrops in the coming days.
More rain chances moving into the Miami Valley come Tuesday and Wednesday. They are very scattered, and not all of us will get in on the action. So pay attention to Live Doppler 7 throughout the afternoon and evening, both Tuesday and Thursday. Wednesday right now looks to be our best chance, and that happens through the afternoon and evening for that better opportunity of some heavier downpours. Could be dealing with some localized flash flooding, so pay attention to that as well. We're talking about a half an inch to an inch of rain widespread through Wednesday evening.
That is Storm Center 7 meteorologist Brittany Ritz. Continuing coverage of our top local story this hour. After his summit with Russian President Putin, President Trump is going to meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky today. Now, speaking on Fox's Sunday Morning Future, Secretary of State Marco Rubio explained how he thinks the meeting with Russia's leader went.
I do think some progress was made in that talk in terms of narrowing down the issues set. And now these are hard issues that remain. You know, the conversation about where the territorial lines are going to be, questions about long-term security guarantees and who Ukraine can have military alliances with, things like that.
Now, Putin has proposed for Moscow to take full control of the Donbas region and freeze the front lines elsewhere in exchange for ending the war. Ukrainian President Zelensky has previously rejected the idea of surrendering the territory. In the Sunshine State, an illegal immigrant truck driver has been arrested and faces deportation after a crash kills 3 people.
Authorities say 42-year-old Harjinder Singh attempted an illegal U-turn with a semi-truck, causing a collision that killed 3 people in a minivan. Singh is now facing deportation and 3 counts of vehicular homicide after the deadly crash, which happened on Florida's Turnpike near Fort Pierce last Tuesday. Singh, who reportedly entered the country in 2018 and obtained a California commercial driver's license, remains in custody. Immigration officials have issued a detainer as the investigation continues.
That is Fox's Ted Lindner.
This is WHIO Continuing News.
And British actor Terence Stamp has passed away.
Stamp often played the role of a complex villain, including that of General Zod in the early Superman films. His death on Sunday was disclosed in a death notice published online. He was 87.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor. WHIO News Time, 7:11.
I'm Larry Hanskin. This is Miami Valley's Morning News, and a look at our 5-day forecast now with Storm Center 7 meteorologist Brittany Ritz.
85 today, partly cloudy and breezy. 64 tomorrow morning with a high of 88 degrees as we switch that wind to the south once again. Fueling the potential for a few thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and into the evening ahead of our next cold front. Scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning and then again through the afternoon on Wednesday. Not a deluge, just very scattered, so pay attention to Live Doppler 7. 83 degrees Wednesday, 82 on Thursday, and 84 on Friday. Both days, Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy.
Live Doppler 7 radar clear, 64 in Springfield, 65 in Huber Heights, and 65 at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Is your car's AC acting up? Keep cool this summer by visiting your trusted automotive air conditioning repair experts. Breathe a little easier by making an appointment today at GrismerTire.com.
Now an update with Jake McNaughton.
Larry, right now we are dealing with just a minor issue on 75 South. Been here for about 30 to 40 minutes. Reported crash just before Needmore Road. This is off to the right side of the road, so still not affecting traffic. Just hearing scanner traffic. Sounds like they're waiting on a tow truck to get here. I was also hearing reports of a possible vehicle fire in Kettering. Sounds like this was on Bigger Road near Poland Drive, so not too far from Poland Farm. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Yeah, the Reds were able to avoid the sweep, and they also ended Milwaukee's 14-game win streak. It was a 3-2, 10-inning victory for Cincinnati as the Reds are on the road visiting the Angels tonight, trailing the Mets by a game and a half for the final National League wildcard. Guardians got swept at home by Atlanta with a 5-4 loss. Now Cleveland drops to 3.5 games behind the Yankees for the final AL wildcard. And still to come, a new stamp honoring a U.S. president. We've got that story in 2 minutes. WHIO News Time is 7:13.
If there's one thing about WHIO, it's that we really care about covering local news in a big way. So far this year, we've won 2 regional Edward R. Murrow News Awards, one for Best Radio Newscast. We're really proud of that one. We don't do this for awards, though. We do this to give you news that's live and local. However, getting recognition for our work is nice. We're not going to lie. Thanks for allowing us into your homes and cars. 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
All right, you're not going to believe this. New polling shows that 96% of us, 96% are targeted by scams every single week. I wonder how the other 4% are not, because I see scams coming in by text, by email, junk phone calls every single day now. And so this is happening because it works. The criminals are able to con us. We think, hey, we're savvy. This isn't going to happen to us. But know that we are being targeted so hard that I want you to be really careful. And the simplest thing to do, never answer your phone if you don't recognize who is calling. Never click on any link in a text or an email.
Clark is WHIO's Consumer Warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO. What is the WHIO Storm Center? It means when you hear these tones, you are just a few minutes away from emergency weather information. Weather is our #1 priority. The Storm Center 7 forecast is always on the radio. 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. And when News Center 7 is in wall-to-wall weather coverage mode, you'll always hear it simulcast on WHIO radio. That means you can take your radio to your safe spot and hear exactly what's happening with severe weather. When it comes to weather, we don't mess around. Dayton's only all-local news radio station. The power of WHIO Radio and News Center 7 means you'll know first. This is Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO.
Good morning, I'm Larry Hansgen. 7:16, 65 degrees in Dayton. Big 3 things you need to know. Warm and sunny today with a high in the mid to upper 80s. Cedarville University with a record enrollment for the 16th year in a row. And our top story, Ukraine President Zelensky coming to the White House today.
That's right, Larry. And WHIO's Rich Jones continues our team coverage.
European and NATO leaders will join President Zelensky in Washington for talks with President Trump on ending Russia's war in Ukraine. Possibility of U.S. security guarantees is now on the negotiating table as President Zelensky and the European delegation head to Washington today. Leaders from France, Britain, Germany, Italy, and Finland are rallying around the Ukrainian leader after his exclusion from President Trump's summit on Friday with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, following the Alaska summit, President Trump declared that a ceasefire was not necessary for peace talks to proceed. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that a ceasefire was still possible, but that the best way to end this conflict is through a full peace deal. Thousands of students in the Miami Valley here coming back to class.
This includes Springfield City Schools, grades 1 through 9. Some students at Green and Local Schools, Mechanicsburg Exempted Village Schools, Fairborn City Schools, and Beaver Creek City Schools.
That is News Center 7's Nick Foley. Here in the home of breaking news, officers investigate a reported shooting in a Vandalia neighborhood.
Vandalia officers and medics responded last night to Stop 8 Road on reports of a shooting. Photos show a building surrounded by yellow caution tape and several police cruisers at the scene. Our news team has contacted the Vandalia Police Division to learn if anyone is hurt and what led to the shooting.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor. In case you didn't hear, a crash closed a stretch of I-75 south in Miami County Friday morning.
Cops say a pickup off the highway drove through a field and went airborne before slamming into 2 trucks on I-75. It happened on southbound 75 just before the Route 571 exit. Both drivers were taken to area hospitals. The driver of a semi that was involved was not hurt.
That is WHIO's Jason Michaels. The Tip City Police say they are investigating to discover if the driver of the accident vehicle suffered a medical emergency. Former President Jimmy Carter will receive a distinct honor from the U.S. Postal Service.
The late president will be featured on a forever stamp. Carter died in December of 2024 at the age of 100. The stamp is made from a 1982 painting done by Herbert E. Abrams. Abrams made the painting in preparation for completing Carter's official White House portrait. The stamp will be available beginning October 1st on what would have been former President Carter's 101st birthday.
That is Fox's Deborah Valentine reporting. WHIO News Time 719.
I'm Larry Hanskin. This is Miami Valley's Morning News with a look at our 5-day forecast from Storm Center 7 meteorologist Britley Ritz.
85 degrees this afternoon, partly cloudy with a north wind at 10 to 15. 88 tomorrow afternoon, scattered showers and thunderstorms ahead of a cold front. We'll have that chance for scattered thunderstorms again in the morning on Wednesday. Once more through the afternoon and evening. Not a deluge, just pay attention to live Doppler 7 as we hit 83 degrees, a little bit cooler. Not as humid Thursday and Friday behind that front, and not as hot either. 82 Thursday and 84 on Friday.
Live Doppler 7 radar clear. 64 in Springfield, 65 in Vandalia, 65 at Dayton. Severe weather station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Refresh your ride with brand new tires at unbeatable prices. Plus, buy 4 new tires and get 4 free oil changes, an additional $300 value. Make an appointment today at GrismerTire.com.
An update with Jake Magnotta.
We still have a few issues, just waiting on this crash to be cleared up here on 75 South. This is right before Needmore Road. It happened last hour. It's not a major problem. This is still off to the right side of the road. So if you can, stay to the left if you're on 75 South heading toward the Dayton area. Also, we are slowing down 35 West. This is that construction area. You'll need extra time through here, starting at about North Fairfield Road and Beaver Creek. And then a few minutes ago, I mentioned some sort of response sounding like this may be a vehicle fire in Kettering on Bigger Road near Poland Drive, not too far from Poland Farm. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Now, the federal government rolling out its own AI tool, and that's the subject of our in-depth impact story coming up in 3 minutes. WHIO News Time is 7:21.
It takes a lot of work and people to put on a live radio station. But being in the moment with us, live and local, is something you can't get anywhere else. WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
KTH Parts Industries is hiring production associates to join our automotive team in St. Paris, Ohio. KTH Parts is looking for mechanically inclined individuals who can be press operators, overhead crane operators, and forklift operators. Ready to take the next step? Visit kth.net today.
Are you tired of dealing with the same health problems like headaches and back pain and still only utilizing a Band-Aid to cover up the symptoms? Then tune into Living the Full Life, where Dr. Juan explains how to get to the root cause of the problem and fix it. Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on WHIO Radio.
Dig this. It's time again for Brown's Nursery's annual stock reduction auction. One day only, Saturday, September 13th. Anticipation is growing for this event, and you can save hundreds, even thousands of dollars on high-quality nursery stock, trees, and shrubs. The auction starts at 7:19 a.m. with 4 auction rings running all day, and you can jump in on the bidding anytime. Brown's Nursery, a half-mile north of Phillipsburg on State Route 49, 4 miles north of I-70. Take exit 24. Go to brownsnursery.com for more details.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
You know, this year has been the toughest year for young people graduating from high school or junior college or traditional four-year college to find a job in their chosen field. We've had since 2009. It's a brutal time right now for people without a lot of work experience, but new skills that they learned in school. So what should somebody do who's in college or high school or community college right now? The most important thing is get whatever work you can while you're in school in your chosen field of study. People who graduate with some work experience in what they want to do have a much easier time finding a job once you finish your education than those who don't have that work experience.
Clark is WHIO's Consumer Warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO.
Isn't it time to bring some magic into the real world? We're knights ride in shining armor, and pirates always have a bag of loot, where everyone is welcome for a toast, where wonder and fantasy awaits you round every corner. Discover it all at the Ohio Renaissance Festival. Visit renfestival.com for info and tickets.
Pella Windows and Doors goes beyond strength, beauty, durability. It's a Pella thing.
passionate about delivering more. They craft every window and door with precision and care. Pella Now, Pay Later makes it easy. Visit PellaWindowsCincinnati.com and make life brighter today.
Good morning, Dayton. You're waking up with the information you need to start the day. Miami Valley's morning news continues on WHIO.
Good morning. I'm Larry Hansgen. And the Daily Mail says disfigured zombie squirrels are invading North American backyards. The squirrels have tumors and oozing growths. The horrifying growths are not fatal, just unsightly. Residents being advised not to touch or attempt to help infected squirrels. 65 degrees now at 724.
Good to know. 24 minutes after 7 o'clock. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. Well, Larry, we're hearing about some cooler air within the next 7 days.
And we'll take every bit of it. And it's not just cooler air we're hoping for. It's the drier air mass, too, when we pull in that northerly wind. And we're not just talking about little rain. We're talking about the air overall. So here we are at 85 for a forecast high today. Not as muggy, but still noticeable. We crank the humidity levels down and the temperature levels down going into Thursday through the rest of this upcoming weekend. We'll be below normal with temperatures in the low 80s.
That is Storm Center 7 meteorologist Britley Ritz. Here is the WHIO impact story, which means we go in-depth on a major story every hour. The U.S. government debuts its own artificial intelligence made to help federal workers adapt to the tech in a secure manner.
USAI is a generative artificially intelligent chatbot that is exclusive to the United States government. The GSA says USAI will push government operations into the future with better data management and operating efficiency. Creating a proprietary government AI is part of the Trump administration's overall plan for the tech, from its integration to operation and development. And having AI exclusive to the U.S. government allows government to make use of the tech in a way that limits chances of it being infiltrated or manipulated by bad actors.
That is Fox's Eben Brown reporting.
This is WHIO continuing news.
And the Dayton Dragons announcing their home schedule for the 2026 season.
The Dragons will host 66 regular season home games at Day Air Ballpark next year. The opening night game is set for April 7th and the final home game on September 6th. You can find a link to the full schedule at WHIO.com.
That is WHIO's Christine Bellino. WHIO News Time 726.
I'm Larry Hansgen. This is Miami Valley's Morning News. I know we just finished a weekend. It's Monday, but why not give ourselves something to look forward to? And let's see what's happening this coming weekend. Sponsored by My USA Credit Union, your best financial friend.
The WHIO Weekend Preview with what's happening around the Miami Valley. Here's Chris Hartley.
The Clifton Gorge Music Festival is happening this weekend over at the Clifton Opera House. That's in Clifton. This is a 2-day music festival. Local musicians, artisans, face painting, craft foods, music, and beer. Friday 4 to 11 and Saturday 10 to 11. The Egyptian Festival, that's going on this weekend in Miamisburg. This is the 26th year for the festival. Bounce houses, food, music, shopping, and more. Friday 5 to 9, Saturday 10 to 10, and Sunday 10 to 5. The Bellbrook Lions Club Summer Fest, that's going on this weekend over at the Bellbrook Lions Club. Carnival rides, games, food, live entertainment, and lots of fun. Friday 5 to 11 and Saturday 4 to 11. And the Lebanese Festival, that's going on this weekend over on Nut Road in Washington Township. Traditional Lebanese food, beer, music, dance, rides for the kids, and a whole lot more. Friday 5 to 9, Saturday 11 to 9, and Sunday 11 to 6. Getting you out into the Miami Valley, I'm Chris Hartley, 1290 and 95.7 WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk.
I'm Parker Testa with the University of Dayton Sports Update. Dayton Volleyball is selected 24th in the preseason American Volleyball Coaches Association poll. The Flyers are coming off a 31-3 season and a trip to the NCAA Regionals.
Into the end zone, touchdown Dayton!
Dayton football kicks off their season Thursday, August 28th at Eastern Illinois. Kickoff time is 7 p.m. The Flyers posted a 6-5 record on the gridiron last season.
Back to Bennett, left corner for 3, and good!
Dayton basketball has a few more pieces to their schedule. The Flyers will play Penn State in an exhibition game benefiting mental health and suicide prevention Sunday, October 19th at 2 o'clock. And they'll take on Georgetown in the ESPN Events Invitational. That game will be following your Thanksgiving dinner on November 27th. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. I'm Parker Testa with your University of Dayton Sports Update on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
Isn't it time to bring some magic into the real world? Where knights ride in shining armor, and pirates always have a bag of loot. Where everyone is welcome for a toast. Where wonder and fantasy awaits you round every corner. Discover it all at the Ohio Renaissance Festival. Visit renfestival.com for info and tickets.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Home.
This is the station Dayton turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. WHIO Dayton Springfield, celebrating 90 years of being Dayton's news and talk station. Depend on it.
Good morning. It's 7:30. I'm Larry Hansgen, and welcome to Miami Valley's Morning News. We are live on Monday, August 28th. 65 degrees in Dayton. Here are the big three things you need to know. Going to be warm and sunny today. A high in the mid to upper 80s. Governor DeWine appoints a new judge to fill a vacancy in the Montgomery County Court. And our top story, Ukraine's president will be joined by European allies on his visit to the White House today.
Yeah, and Larry, this comes after President Trump's Friday summit with Russian President Putin in Alaska. Fox's Kevin Cork has details for us.
President Trump set to meet with Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House for high-stake talks on ending Russia's war in Ukraine. Top European and NATO leaders, including the UK's Prime Minister and France's President, also set to take part. They've been, in fact, rallying around Zelensky after he was excluded from Friday's summit in Alaska between Presidents Trump and Putin. This meeting comes as Trump's envoy claims progress is being made with Russia's leader. In fact, he says they've agreed to allow Ukraine security guarantees and is even discussing land swaps. Putin reportedly also wants to control the entire Donbass region.
And President Zelensky demanding an immediate ceasefire before a full peace agreement. President Trump also considering a trilateral meeting that will include both Russia and Ukraine. Stay tuned here as we continue to bring you the updates on this developing story throughout the day as it develops here on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
Waiting for the next cold front to reinforce the cooler air. I'm Storm Center 7 meteorologist Britley Ritz. I'll let you know when it passes on by here in the Miami Valley and how cool we'll actually get from it.
All that crash on 75 South just before Needmore Road has finally been cleared. The biggest problem now is that construction area in Beaver Creek. We're almost at a complete stop right now. 35 West, this starts right around North Fairfield Road. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
I'm Larry Hansgen. This is Miami Valley's Morning News.
And I'm Jeremy Ratliff. All police are searching for a missing 16-year-old boy.
St. Mary's police are searching for Brody McDermott. He was last seen around 7:15 p.m. Saturday at his home on Camden Avenue. Brody was wearing blue jeans, a black T-shirt, and white tennis shoes. See a photo of him at WHIO.com.
That is WHIO's Rich Jones. One person is in the hospital after they were pulled from Ludlow Falls.
Happened just before 6:30 Saturday night. Deputies on scene told News Center 7 person jumped in and had to be pulled out by fire crews because they could not walk.
That is News Center 7's Taylor Robertson. Firefighters warning of the danger of swimming in the falls as it is illegal. The city of Englewood getting a $325,000 upgrade to its dispatch center.
They've gotten new radio command systems, ergonomic workstations, and surveillance monitors to improve the efficiency and comfort of dispatch operations.
That is WHIO's Jason Michaels. Chief Corey Follick says the improvements will allow dispatchers to maintain the same level of timely response while operating more efficiently. Hurricane Aaron strengthened back into a Category 4 storm as it continues on its path through the Atlantic. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer reports.
Hurricane Aaron continues to lash the Caribbean with damaging winds and heavy rain. Aaron's outer bands have already knocked out power to nearly 150,000 people in Puerto Rico. And while it's not forecast to make landfall, the storm is expected to double or even triple in size. That could bring life-threatening surf and rip currents to the East Coast by midweek.
Now, the storm could still bring dangerous waves and riptides to the East Coast. A Royal Caribbean cruise ship docked in Port Canaveral to avoid the storm, skipping its stop in Bermuda. Texas Republicans will resume pushing through U.S. House maps that would carve out a bigger GOP advantage in the 2026 elections after state Democrats indicated they were ready to end a 2-week walkout.
California Democrats are also moving ahead with their own reshaping of congressional districts to counteract Texas. Absent lawmakers signaled they were ready to return to Austin after Governor Greg Abbott ended a first special session on redistricting and California moving forward with its own plan. He called the session at the urging of President Trump, who wants to shore up Republicans' narrow House majority.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor. The film Weapons continues to scare audiences, winning the battle at the box office.
Weapons continuing its run at the top of the box office for a second weekend in a row. The horror film earning another $25 million in theaters in the U.S. and Canada. Freakier Friday, starring Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, holding on to second place in its second weekend, bringing in $14.5 million domestically.
That is Fox's Daria Albinger reporting. WHIO News Time, 7:35.
I'm Larry Hansgen. This is Miami Valley's Morning News. The Cleveland Browns, coming off an exhibition win Saturday at Philadelphia, will play their final preseason game this Saturday at home against the Rams. Coach Kevin Stefanski yet to name a starting quarterback.
We're working towards obviously week one. That's part of what this week is about, getting our football team ready. So we'll make all those type of determinations in the next couple days.
Kickoff Saturday against the Rams at 1. All the action right here on your Dayton radio home for the Browns. AM 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. We'll have all games for you all season long. And again, the season opener September 7th when the Browns host the Bengals. Meanwhile, Cincinnati playing its second exhibition game tonight against the Commanders in Washington. And still to come on Miami Valley's Morning News, the Pretenders front person with some new music. That story in 2 minutes. WHIO News Time, 7:36.
A lot of weird stuff happens around here overnight. That's why we feature Dayton's only all-news morning show. Catch up and know what's going on every morning. Miami Valley's Morning News is on WHIO. WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
For Good News in Dayton, this is Marty Grunder from Grunder Landscaping Company. Matt Klein is an amazing young man I know. He was just named one of the Dayton Business Journal's 40 Under 40 award recipients. He is so deserving of this. Matt, a Wright State University graduate and an entrepreneur, started his own nonprofit, Just a Pair of Shoes, to give kids who don't have name brand shoes a shot at them. Since its inception, over 2,000 kids have received a free pair of shoes. They operate without any administrative costs and has the help of many passionate volunteers that allow him to do his great work. There isn't enough time to communicate what all Matt has done for the Dayton region. Go to his website, justapairofshoes.org, and learn more, and by all means donate. I just did myself. Let's help Matt Klein. Matt, my friend, you are good news for Dayton.
Good News in Dayton is sponsored by Grunder Landscaping, Day Air Credit Union, and Wagner Paving. For more information, visit goodnewsindayton.com.
As you may know, David's Cemetery is a beautiful cemetery in the heart of Kettering that offers many burial options. What you may not know is that we also have a beautiful chapel and an after-service facility called the Gathering Room. Our convenient location eliminates traveling from place to place because we can host everything from the visitation and memorial service to the committal and family gathering. Please call or stop by our office for a private tour. David's Cemetery, Generations of Care.
Are you tired of dealing with the same health problems like headaches and back pain and still only utilizing a Band-Aid to cover up the symptoms? Then tune into Living the Full Life, where Dr. Juan explains how to get to the root cause of the problem and fix it. Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on WHIO Radio.
I'm Dr. Merkel. Recently, a 60-year-old patient reported his cataracts are gone, floaters are gone, and he can drive better at night. His tremor is gone and can sign his name better. Hip and knee joint pains are also gone, and he can now go up steps 2 at a time. Overall fatigue and stiffness are much better, lost a few pounds, and his ED and testosterone greatly improved. He hasn't felt this healthy or this good in years. No surgeries, no drugs, no shots were used or even needed. Just getting healthier. He didn't need multiple doctors, just one who is an expert in health. Whatever your health problems, maybe there are safe natural options. You'll know in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And if you get healthy enough, does it really matter the name of the disease? At Take Two Healthcare, we won't guess. With proper testing, we will know what to do. Go to Take Two Healthcare and listen every Saturday, 11 to noon, to Take Two Healthcare right here on WHIO.
5. Together with the resources of News Center 7, you're on Dayton's #1 news team. Now, back to Miami Valley's morning news on WHIO.
Good morning, I'm Larry Hansgen. 1 week from today, it starts the WHIO payroll payout contest. Listen for the keyword and enter it on our app. You got 5 chances every day to win $1,000. You can do so starting a week from today. Get ready. 65 degrees now, 7:39.
And that is 21 minutes here ahead of 8 o'clock. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. Larry, the national awareness for this month informs people on how to protect your immune system.
August is National Immunization Awareness Month. The American Association for Immunologists says it's an annual observance, highlighting the importance of getting recommended vaccines through your life to ensure you're protected against serious disease. The association also suggests as kids are getting back to school, make sure they get caught up on missed well-child visits and recommended vaccines. But how does a vaccine work? The AAI explains that they trigger an immune response that trains your body to recognize disease-causing germs and fight them off if they ever invade your body.
That is Fox's Monica DeLuca reporting. Continuing coverage of our top story, President Trump meets with Ukraine's President Zelensky today at the White House after a controversial summit with Russian President Putin. Fox's Jill Nato brings us a look at some of this weekend's reaction to that summit.
Feelings about the president's meeting with Putin appear to be divided down party lines. Republican Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri told Fox just getting Putin to talk about negotiations was an accomplishment.
President Trump is engaging Russia. He's bringing the two parties together to get to peace. That has always been his North Star.
But Democrats blasted the president for speaking with a man some call a murderous dictator, Congressman Jason Crow on Fox.
What happened on Friday, it was a historic embarrassment for the United States. There's no other way to put it.
French and British leaders have been commending President Trump for his efforts, but they're skeptical about Putin and saying their support for Ukraine is unwavering.
And stay tuned here as we continue to bring you updates on this developing story throughout the day on WHIO.
This is WHIO Continuing News.
In music news, Chrissie Hynde from The Pretenders has a new duets album on the way.
Chrissie Hynde, founding member of The Pretenders, is teaming up with a lineup of rock legends for a duet special album out October 17th. Each of the 13 tracks features a different guest, including The Killers' Brandon Flowers, Depeche Mode's Dave Gahan, Garbage's Shirley Manson, Cat Power, and K.D. Lang. The first single, Always on My Mind, with Rufus Wainwright, is out now.
That is Fox's Michelle Polino reporting. Interesting. WHIO News Time, 7:41.
I'm Larry Hansgen. This is Miami Valley's morning news with a look ahead with our 5-day extended forecast from Storm Center 7 meteorologist Brittany Ritz.
85 today, partly cloudy and breezy. 64 tomorrow morning with a high of 88 degrees as we switch that wind to the south once again, fueling the potential for a few thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and into the evening ahead of our next cold front. Scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning and then again through the afternoon on Wednesday. Not a deluge, just very scattered, so pay attention to live Doppler 7. 83 degrees Wednesday, 82 on Thursday, and 84 on Friday. Both days, Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy.
Live Doppler 7 radar clear. We got 64 in Springfield, 65 in Tip City, and 65 at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Expert brake repair you can trust. Make sure you can stop when you need to the most. Get a little peace of mind by making an appointment today with your trusted brake repair experts at GrismerTire.com.
A live update with Jake Magnotta.
The only thing going on right now is construction creating delays for those taking 35 west. It's a pretty decent delay right now in Beaver Creek. It's about from North Fairfield Road over to 675, so a few extra minutes needed there. Still no crashes on our highways. We did have one on 75 South. Was a minor issue just before Needmore Road. It's cleared about 10 minutes ago. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Dragons win the series finale at Lansing 4-1 yesterday afternoon, returning to Day Air Ballpark to host Peoria starting tomorrow night. That'll be a 6-game series there. And still to come on Miami Valley's Morning News, a piece of history is unveiled in Troy. That story in 2 minutes. WHIO News Time, 7:43.
Here at WHIO, we listened to what you want in a news and talk station. What you said is that it's important to report the news right down the middle and then let you decide what you think about it. It's not our job to convince you to think a certain way. It's our job to report the news, give you both sides, and be fair and honest. That's a promise we've made since 1935. We're honored you've chosen us as Dayton's news and talk station. 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. Depend on it.
For This Week in History, I'm Ron Otto. August 17th, 1998, President Bill Clinton admits to a relationship with Monica Lewinsky.
While my answers were legally accurate, I did not volunteer information. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
August 18th, 1956, Elvis Presley's Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel hits #1. August 19th, 1871, the younger of the Wright brothers, Orville Wright, is born. August 22nd, 565, St. Columbia reports a monster in Loch Ness. August 23rd, 1876, Darke County's Annie Oakley marries traveling show marksman Frank Butler.
The prisoner wishes to